right, to the Catholic University of Peking, which provided both the incentive and the opportunity for writing this book. This is called Human Personality. It was written in 1950. It's one of my favorite books. The emergence and history of the human person. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, take in mind it was, or keep in mind it was written 76 years ago, yeah. 76 years old, wow. Casting a retrospective glance at the history of which the pages of our proto-history have tried to give an account, we can discern two distinct successive stages. The first is wholly anonymous. Our account of it is entirely concerned with human society and its development. It deals exclusively with man and his social aspect, the clans, the families, the tribes to which he belonged, the traditions, civilizations, and ideologies to which he was subject to. The nature of our record certainly precludes the possibility of taking cognizance of individual efforts and achievements. Even so, it is most likely that the individual remained really quite as much submerged in the society of which he formed part, as our account he has seemed to indicate. Even today, people that have not yet reached the level of a high civilization present to us the picture of a tribal life in which it never centers the heads of people to see themselves as contrasted with the society that they actually belong to, and as capable either of sacrifice for the general interest or the pursuit of some advantage and disregard of the general interest. In tribalism, there is no conscious conflict between egoism and altruism. In a subsequent stage, the social aspect of man still predominates, but with Ernina and Menes, name of individuals make their appearance. With Ernina and Menes, these individuals, however, are largely hypostazizations of man's social relationships, whether political, economic, or religious. The hieratic kingship with which they are vested, is what matters supremely. Their individuality is a factor that counts for so little that their very status refrain from expressing it. Their hieratic kingship with which they are vested is what matters supremely. Their individuality is a factor that counts for so little that their very statues refrain from expressing it. Not because the artist's technique was incapable of doing so, but because his sole task was to depict the office, not the incumbent, a universal and not a singular. It is only in the second millennium that a change takes place in this, and that we get the beginnings of portraiture. Especially in Egypt, it is no longer the king who has such monopolies. All the records that have come down to us, other individuals in humbler stations of life, now also begin to tell prosperity about their own individual achievements and aspirations. Thus, the stage was set for an emergence of the human person, a phenomenon which, as we shall see, will provide the leitmotif of the period to be treated in the present volume. Leitmotif. We'll put that for one of the words of the day. What else did we have? Canticle. And this is Leitmotiv. Leitmotiv. motive or motif? Motif. But where and when, I know in the beginning of this book it has the pronunciations. I think I messed myself up more by delving into that. Yeah, because it has all the different sounds and stuff and how to pronounce. Because sometimes it has the hyphen or. I know I get tongue-tied sometimes. Alright, where were we? Page 2. But where and when was tribalism first outgrown? Sir. Those snowbanks are huge, huh? Some really snowbanks. Some really big snowbanks. Yes. But where and when was tribalism first outgrown? Certainly not in the highly complicated and sophisticated Egypt of the second millennium. There is a general trend to individualism in the venatorial type of civilization. Venatorial type. Venatorial, venatorial. Venatorial, crossword. Yeah, that V one should be just about filled up, huh? I know we only needed a few more words for V. We need one more now? Okay, see if we'll get one here. I don't know how much longer I'm going to read. It's about 1:15 here in the afternoon. February 2nd, 2/2. Yeah. Alright, certainly, we'll just start this paragraph over. But where and when was tribalism first outgrown? Certainly not in the highly complicated or sophisticated Egypt of the second millennium. There is a general trend to individualism in the venatorial type of civilization, just as there is a trend to collectivism in the agriculturalist type. But here we are not concerned with the contrast between individualism and collectivism, but between tribalism and personalism. Ism. Let us first get clear the distinction between the individual and the person, a distinction which has been analyzed, worked out, and formulated in a remarkable manner by William Van Opstal. Put that for one of the daily lookups. William Van Opstal. And formulated in a remarkable manner by William Van Opstal. Following his brilliant exposition, I would therefore say that the individual stands for existential distinction from others. In potential reality, there are no individuals. Individuation is a metaphysical function of existence. In actual reality, a substance is necessarily individual. God, therefore, is an individual, and to such an extent that he is unique. In spiritual beings, like the angels, individual and specific differences coincide. In corporeal spiritual beings, has man. Differences inter se are not specific. Inter se would be the Latin term they use there for differences, I believe. Inter se, I-N-T-E-R, space, S-E, inter se, are not specific, but due solely in their existential separation. Due solely, D-U-E, D-U-E, but due solely, big difference, D-O or D-U-E, totally different. Sounds the same. How do you know the difference? If you can't see the word, there must be some context around you or something to let you know do, to do, or what is due. but due solely to their existential separation through the division of quantity. Their individuation is a function of matter. Individuation, therefore, confers purely somatic differences. It implies a limitation, an imperfection of the individual as compared to its species. The person, on the other hand, stands for the substance of an intellectual being, stands for the subsistence of an intellectual being in the existential order. It is what it is and what it chooses to make of itself. Thus, God has the most perfect personality because he is perfectly independent and resting in himself and is the pure act of existence. In created persons, potentiality enters, and the more it does, the less it is subject to independence. Right, someone just used an example as saying, so if God was the sun or a rock or you or me, whatever's looking, because you can only really look at so many things, right, and have that focus, your focal point can really only be on one thing, right? So whatever you're perceiving that as, whether it's a curtain or a rock or the sun, what you are associating it to. Is it bringing you pain? I wish the sun would just tone it down already. It's really hot. Brr, I wish the sun would come out. Oh, I'm so happy to see the sun. Right, the rock. Oh, what a pretty rock. I want to pick that one up and bring it home with me. Put it in my rock collection. Stupid rock, I just tripped over it. What an ugly rock. Right, whatever reason it's saying this or feeling a certain way, whatever it's looking at. Mashed potatoes. My big toe. Leave me alone. Exactly. So you can, whatever you want to say, if you say that's beautiful, look at the beautiful snow. Oh my God, I wish I could never see snow again. I'm moving to the Bahamas. I never want to see snow ever again. I love the snow. It makes me feel all happy. We're just trying to set an example. Yeah, I sure hope so when it comes to that. Yep, the hope is always there, I guess. We have some hope, or I don't know, I guess we wouldn't be here talking about it. No, we'd be dead in a ditch somewhere. Definitely, probably not talking to you here. No. Exactly. Thank you. You're welcome. Just taking a few breaths and being still. With the washer going and the UV lights, my energy being, everything's going like this. No, not really. It's actually quite still. Squint. Oh, now it looks like it's doing this. Looks totally normal. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. If it's really hot, you know how it'll look wavy. Right, so that's why I say that if somebody's hot-tempered, right? Maybe you need to just breathe. Right, now, what's bothering you though? Is something making you hot-tempered? Right, oftentimes if you're hot-tempered about something, you don't notice the vibrations even, do you? You're hot-tempered about something. What's making you hot-tempered? Is it somebody sitting right next to you, just being really annoying? Mock, eating, bird. Okay, so you can move away, right? You can't, you gotta sit there and endure it. There's no other choice. Okay, so tell them to shut up, please. And say, hey, that's really bothersome and annoying. You're right in my ear with that. Tone it down a little bit. If it's really bothering you that bad, though, I mean, can you put on headphones or just move yourself away? Yeah, actually I can. So I guess if you don't want to tone it down and you want to continue on with your song, all right, I will move over there. Sure. I'll be the bigger person. I got headphones. It's totally fine. You can't sing forever, can you? So, I mean, it's like, am I chained to the chair and you're chained to the chair? Now I'm just going to start smacking you till you stop singing. And now they're going to smack me because I'm smacking them. Well, we're handcuffed to a chair away from everybody, so I don't really think they care. They actually find it quite amusing. We're just sitting here smacking each other, so. Now what? I sure hope they help those kids soon. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, for people to understand how they've already been murdered, tortured, we've already been killed. 2012, do you remember 2012? Yeah. Right, so for people to get that and how the people around here think it's a big fucking joke and they've been laughing in our faces for years, we've accepted. We love and appreciate and understand their stupidity. Right, so sometimes they hear us speaking about it, and if it upsets them, they say, hey, that's enough, stop it, and we do. No problem. We usually make it a point to not talk about it if we know they're going to be around, because we know it upsets them. The truth upsets them, as you can see. And we've shown you that even if we bring up the vaccines. Okay, we don't even got to talk about the child abuse then, which we should be talking about. The kids are screaming in the car right there. I know. Did it make mainstream? No, they're not important enough, are they? These things happen every day. You know that, right? I guess it only matters if it matters, right? Yeah, wow. Your guess is as good as mine, really. We're doing all we can without breaking the law, and we're at peace. That's what we're trying to get the public to understand. So, I mean, treatment and prevention would be a good idea, right? But then to acknowledge those situations, people go, what the fuck then? Do something, help those kids. Yeah, when you understand these situations, you start to get how fucked up it is. A lot of people have already realized that, like years ago, before we went to Canada in 2017. Right, so we've been dealing with a lot of activist groups that jumped on board in 2015 and 2016, and it was already way past what the fuck. Yeah, if you look back between 2010 and 2013, the suicides, the deaths, the doctors, the private investigators, Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, Kennedy was pretty heavy going in the vaccines, remember that? His wife committed suicide, was suspicious. Yeah, Trump mentioned the vaccines 2013. I think Bill Gates told him they'd destroy him. There was a lot of stuff going on back then with these things. And we'd already been horrified and dealt with a lot of bullshit around here and what they did between 2008 and 2012. No Child Left Behind. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. They know what we're talking about. We've explained this multiple times, and the fact that people still continue to ignore it and we have to keep repeating these things is fucking ridiculous. You sick fucking monkeys. And they get on that TV every day and want to report the news and act like people aren't being murdered and kidnapped and raped and tortured every day. You sick fucks. What about the vaccines? Huh? Pieces of shit. Unfucking believable. I sure hope so. I really, really hope so. Yes, it implies a limitation of imperfection of the individual as compared to its species. Is that where we finished off? The person, on the other hand, stands for the substances. The substances. The substances. The person, on the other hand, stands for the substances. The person, on the other hand, stands for the subsistence. Oh, subsistence. Subsistence. I was just kidding. Actually being totally serious. The person, on the other hand, I really hope so. I really hope so. The person, on the other hand, stands for the subsistence of an intellectual being in the existential order. Existential order. It is what it is, what it chooses to make of itself. Thus, God has the most perfect personality because he is perfectly independent and resting in himself, and is the pure act of existence. In created persons, potentiality enters, and the more it does, the less it is subject. The less is its subject independent. In created persons, potentiality enters, and the more it does, the less is its subject independent. In created persons, potentiality enters, and the more it does, the less is its subject independent. Self-satisfiable and personal. The angle, being a subsistent form, exhausts all the possibilities of his essence, and therefore ranks next to God. Oh, the angel. What did I say? Angle? The angel, being a subsistent form, exhausts all the possibilities of his essence, and therefore ranks next to God, to whom, however, he has been in potentiality, and regards existence. Man, a creature of matter and form, is the actualization of a single possibility of his form, which is that of a whole species, individuated by matter. Individuated Vitamin. Individuated. You say it, please. Individuated. Individuated by matter, and therefore ranks next, and indeed lowest, in the hierarchy of intellectual beings. Page 4. He depends for his existence not only on God, as the first cause, but in addition, also on the secondary.